I don't have the best track record when it comes to relationships. Sorry, not like anyone's out there like, I do. But I dated a Scientologist once by accident. And then the guy after him turned out to be abusive and a pathological liar. But I want to say that the cringiest of them all was this guy who was just guilty of being a guy who sucked. Let's call him Joey, because his name was Joey. I first met Joey when I was working at a cafe in West Hollywood. He came in one day to pick up a to-go order, and I just knew I had to have him. He was so cute. He had these like twinkly eyes and these kind of unassuming muscles and like this really cool haircut that was shaved close on the sides, but like longer down the middle, but braided. It sounds really ugly, but I swear he was like the hottest guy I'd ever interacted with. And there was also something kind of approachable about him. For some reason, I had the confidence to be more forward than I had ever been before with a guy. I think I was also bored, and I really didn't have a lot to lose. Like, I loved that cafe, but it was tiny, and I saw the same people every day, and it had been months since my last pseudo-relationship. So I just kind of went for it. Every time Joey came in, I told him I'd missed him. I would say things like, hey, can I ask you a personal question? What are you going to be for Halloween? And like, full disclosure, I have actually used that line before several times. Always gets a laugh. I'm a waitress, so I recycle jokes a lot. But one day I joked with Joey that he should come in every single day. And he took the bait. He knew I was flirting, and he was like, yeah, maybe just on the days that you work. And I very earnestly relayed my entire schedule to him. And I kept chipping away at Joey until he asked me on a date. And it was super fun, and we found out we had all these weird little things in common. Like we were both Geminis, and we had the same favorite color. You know, stuff you write home about. And fast forward a year, and I'm still hanging out with Joey, and my friends and my roommates are absolutely beside themselves because Joey makes me feel like crap all the time. After that date, things kind of fizzled, and Joey and I would go months without talking because he would lose interest in me, and I would be too cool to call him out about it. I kept saying, like, that is it. I have too much self-worth to be strung along or taken for granted or forgotten about. But then Joey would reappear every now and then with a really manipulative Snapchat of his new puppy, and I would fall back in immediately. And I couldn't explain it to people. I had no excuse. My friends were on the sidelines like, Joey sucks. He's never going to change. He will always suck. And I knew that. But it was as if I didn't know that because I let him get away with things that would never fly now. I mean, one time he invited me over and he made me sit on his bed and listen to him read me an 11-page rap he'd handwritten dissing Drake. Sober. I just sat there. I was like, good job, babe. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah. One time he said he was coming over, but he just forgot and fell asleep. And he was constantly wasting my time and my mascara because I would run to my room, touch up my makeup, and douse myself in body spray because the only compliment he'd ever paid me was that I smelled good one time. And then it all came crashing down. I learned something about Joey that completely broke the spell. This was in 2016 when there was kind of this important election coming up. And Joey, it turned out, had and proudly wore a Make America Great Again t-shirt. And I have, and like sort of proudly wear, what's called a vagina. So I felt like, thank you. I felt like I was seeing him clearly for the first time. The rose-colored glasses came off. I realized that like just because we were both Geminis with the same favorite color, he wasn't going to magically take up an interest in who I was. He wasn't going to start showing up when he said he was going to, or texting me back, or apologizing for constantly talking over me. Joey, as may have been inferred already, was not a generous lover. So when we got into a heated debate about locker room talk, he didn't even get it when I sarcastically was like, yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, at least Trump likes to touch pussy. We didn't work out. And I want so badly to say that I drew the line at the really hardcore Trump supporting, but in the name of full transparency, it still took me a couple months to really liberate myself from the intoxicating period of self-sabotage that was Joey. It ended because he flaked on me again. And this time I was just like, you know what? Don't ever text me again. and I deleted his number, and my friends were very cautiously ecstatic. And nearly a year later, I got a phone call in the middle of the night from a random number, and I didn't pick up, but the next morning I followed up on a hunch I had, and I dug up Joey's number, and I realized that it had been him. And I couldn't help but feel a little triumphant, because after all the times I was made to feel completely insane for letting Joey back into my life, it turned out that he was also delusional for thinking that I would ever, in a million years, call him back. Thank you.